morning, everyone. You see, 10 years. 10 years ago, I would not need glasses. So this is something right now. So good morning, everyone. And I'd like to thank you to our honorable speakers, sponsors, partners, armed forces, government, guests, and participants of the 2024 edition of the World Agility Forum. Today, we are going to much more than celebrate our 10th edition. We are also going to rethink, and that's been our mission, to inspiring a change in the way management have been thinking and the ways they work. I hope today we can be really inspiring to all of you. Did you know that 75% of Fortune 500 companies have adopted Agile management practices? This is just a trend. It's reshaping how successful business operate. Agile is a success, but only for 11% of the 75 of these firms. So what is happening? Today we will explore why agility is critical for your organization's future. Believe it or not, research says that 69% of organizations report that processes and tools overshadow individuals and interactions in their organizations. 69% of these organizations start by buying a tool to become agile. 23%, which means 1 out of 4, say that individuals' interactions are rarely considered to start a new initiative, a team, or even a new line of business. Where is the value creation? Why is it always about productivity and time consumption and time management? Nevertheless, Agile is an enormous success because so far we haven't heard anyone of those who had at least a reasonable experience where people and interactions really happen, that creatively innovate by delivering real value to their users, would want to return to work in a company that won't have an Agile culture, mindset, or behaviors that foster people and interactions first, creative and critical thinking before tools and processes, then command and control. Today, we will explore how to rethink management, strategies for agility in uncertain times. And we won't start with tools for sure. We delve into revolutionary change in management paradigms. We'll hear from industry leaders on sustaining progress and engage in deep dive discussions on practical applications of agility. Innovation and value creation for business that will help to improve people's lives. By the end of the day, you will understand critical message for fostering behaviors that will drive agility within your organization, and hopefully you'll be equipped with actionable insights to implement your change immediately. We are here today to inspire you to do the best with a better purpose. Also among us, there are the cadets from our military schools. They are in the last year. They're going to be, soon or not, they will be leading the future of the armed forces. And hopefully, we also want to inspire them. There is much better ways of doing and achieving a better purpose the way they're doing. Before I hand to Steve, I also would like to appreciate a friend that have been with me since also these 10 years. And 10 years ago, we were discussing at his office, how could we do this in the military forces? What was the need? What was the change that we were looking for? Because all this, it's very tricky in certain aspects. It's very inspiring, but to put the practicality, it takes different things to happen. And so I would like to call Almirante Gamer Marques, a friend that have been helping so much to our conference and to the future of this country and the progress also of this institution. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hugo.
I'd like to give a small gift to GNS, but to Almirante Gamer Marques. Thank you so much for these 10 years of collaboration and friendship we have done.
Thank you very much, Hugo. And if I may say a few words, I really, I followed Hugo from 10 years ago. I was not Portuguese NSA, which is the job I have today. And I really commend him to you for his vision and also for his perseverance because as he rightly said, although we live in a very strange and rapidly changing world, it seems that at least in some areas of the world, these ideas are difficult to get in, which is a paradox. And I'm sure that throughout these days, you'll thoroughly discuss this and come up with some strategies to overcome this fact, at least in some parts of the world. So I commend Hugo for his vision, for his perseverance, because you have to be stubborn to overcome the lack of sometimes of some managers or some leaders to change in accordance with the needs of today's world. So all the best, and I hope that at least in 10 years, although with some other glasses, we may still be together, at least thinking that we've done and achieved something on behalf of our society. Thank you very much, Hugo.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you so much, sir. Steve, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thanks.
Also want to thank you to Steve, that over the last 10 years have been writing and contributing with so much value to the things that we've been doing and so big discussions we have. So today we also have so many friends here. It will be an enormous pleasure and gratitude. We thank you all for being here with us today and the next following days, of course. Thank you so much. Steve.
Thank you, Hugo, and welcome everyone to this event, and congratulations for being here, because this, I believe, is a very important event. I think it's, as I'll explain in a moment, a newsworthy event and even a historic event in the context of management. And this is not an idle boast. I'll give you 10 firsts that this conference is delivering in these few days, and we'll show you why I believe this is a historic conference. And the first is, of course, that this is one of the first conferences, if not the first conference, to partner with the Drucker Forum and to have Richard Straub with us. It's really an honor that we have this collaboration, and I think this is, I hope, just the beginning of a continuing relationship. Secondly, this is the first conference to combine management and financial data. There's so many management conferences, talks where people are talking about management, but they're not looking to, is this viable? Is this company actually surviving? Or is this company on the path to disaster? And in this conference, you will find management data, financial data posted in the rooms outside, and you can check which firms are doing well and which firms are doing less well. And in fact, the third first is that this is, I think, the first conference that really has the courage to show the data that reveals that some of the most famous firms, some of the most celebrated firms in management are living on borrowed time, and their reputation is not warranted by what is happening in their company today. And this data that you will see outside shows you which of those companies, and some of the speakers will be naming names, as well as the champions that are doing well. So we're delivering a fact-based conference, not a conference of the managers we like and the companies we like, but companies that are actually delivering. And so the fourth first, I would say, it's one of the few management conferences that stops beating around the bush and actually gets to the guts of the issues and talks about what's really going on, and not just this little fix to that little problem, but talking about underlying cause and fundamental shortfalls and extraordinary accomplishments that you'll be hearing about today. And fifth, this is the first conference that takes seriously Peter Drucker's advice to look outside the window and see what is there, but visible, but not yet seen. And you'll be showing that principle throughout the work. And sixthly, it's the first conference to recognize that we are dealing with a global phenomenon. This is not an American issue or a European issue or an Asian issue. We have representatives, I think, from every continent in this conference, and I hope that this global participation, this world participation, will lead to lasting relationships all around the world. And seventh, I think it's the first conference to provide a definition of the management that we are transitioning from. I mean, to talk about next management, if we do not understand, or what is the current management, we are likely to end in confusion. And so this is the first conference that will put forward a definition. What is the management that we are actually transitioning from? And next, it's the first conference to provide a definition of the management that we need to transition to, so that we have at least a notional goal in place as to not only where we've come from, but where we're heading. And it's the first conference to identify the firms that are already implementing the next management. We will name names and show you these firms are on the right path, and recognize that the next management isn't a dream, it isn't a fantasy, it is actually happening when we look out the window and see what is there. And it is the first conference, I think, that points out that this is not just a moral direction in which we're heading, or as Richard would say, a noble direction, but it is the direction that we need to go in. It is a joyful and inspiring and playful and even beautiful direction that we are going in. And above all, I think it's a direction that young people find inspiring. Young people see in what we'll be talking about, this is something that is describing a world that they would like to live in, which is when they look at some of the firms, some of the management practices that have taken place in the past, they are in despair as to whether this is really a world they want to be part of. This, I think, is creating a world, pointing to a world that is inspiring, and we have some young speakers here to tell us themselves not only what they like about what we're doing, but what more we need to do in those different directions. And so we're promising a lot. We need to get to work, and so I'll start by inviting my dear friend and colleague, Richard Straub, the chair and president of the Global Peter Drucker Forum, to share with us his vision of the next management. Thank you.